Hello, my name is Joseph Lanza, and this is my presentation for Lesson Plan 1. My topic for this lesson plan is mental health. The two skills I'm going to be focusing on are relationship management and communication, and my grade level is high school, specifically grade 10. So, my indicators and standards that will be aligned with this lesson are the guidance document indicators relationship management C6 and communication C1. For my national standards, it's going to be 1.12.1 and 4.12.6. And for my New York State Health Education Standard, it's going to be 1B, 1D, 2B, and 3E. My goal for this lesson is that by the end of the lesson, 85% of students will demonstrate effective communication and relationship management skills where they will accurately identify at least two healthy communication strategies and explain how using these skills can improve personal and social well-being, mental health, as measured by an exit ticket reflection and peer feedback rubric. My objectives for today are going to be for this lesson, Today I will identify and describe at least two effective communication and relationship management strategies that promote positive mental health as measured by the Gallery Walk response sheet. My next objective is today I will be able to demonstrate positive interpersonal behaviors such as empathy, cooperation, respect, and inclusiveness while engaging in group discussion, role plays, and the gallery walk activity, as observed through peer interaction and teacher observation. My last objective is today I will explain in a written reflection how practicing empathy, respect, and positive communication can affect one's own and others' mental health and strengthen relationship with others as evaluated through their reflective writing or exit ticket. The assessment I'll be using for this lesson plan is a formal formative peer assessment using a standards-based rubric, and the materials that students will need are either a pen or a pencil and post-it notes. So before this lesson, I will have gone through the start of this unit, which was lessons covering understanding mental health and emotional awareness. Through these lessons, before this lesson plan number 1, I introduced students to mental health and emotional regulation, the definition of mental health, recognizing emotions and stress triggers, healthy versus unhealthy coping strategies, and students completed a self-reflection activity called Stress and Me, which basically was students reflecting on how stress and different types of stress, mental health affects them as an individual. After this lesson, students will be diving deeper into advocacy and taking action for mental health. I want them to start promoting mental health awareness for themselves and others. And yeah, they will be going deeper into advocacy. They will go deeper into leadership skills, challenging mental health stigma through positive messaging, identify school and community resources that they could refer others to use if they are dealing with mental health problems. And students will uh, start working on their group advocacy project, which is a mental health awareness campaign that can be implemented in the school. So after this lesson, uh, students are going to start to work on that advocacy project, and they're going to work as a group and come up with different strategies or campaigns that can be implemented in our school that could support or help students who are dealing with mental health issues. So in this lesson, I used several different universal design learning elements. For engagement, I encouraged movement through the gallery walk, uh, collaboration, and peer discussion. This allowed students to connect with real-world scenarios, as in the role play, gave students the opportunity to express ideas, thoughts, feelings in their own way. And when they were in their groups, they were able to express their own thoughts and feelings to their group members. I used representation. Uh, I made multiple formats to make materials and whatever we were doing in class accessible to different learning styles. I provided visual supports, oral discussions, as well as written directions and responses and teacher modeling. I used the element of action and expression. I gave students various ways to practice and demonstrate content and skills through active learning strategies and formal and informal assessments, such as the peer assessment. I used an exit ticket and the Gallery Walk response sheet. I also created a supportive learning environment for students, which built social emotional safety for all the students that will be learning this lesson. So for my IEP 504 and ELL students, I gave extended time on different informal or formal assessments that were involved in the lesson, such as the Gallery Walk response sheet and the closing exit ticket. I translated materials for my ELL Spanish students, and I translated those materials into Spanish for those students on both the PowerPoint that will be up in front of the class during the lesson and all the materials. They were all translated. I used enlarged font for those students who have visual impairments, and I provided all my instructions and directions written out on the PowerPoint, as well as me saying them orally. Some safety considerations for this lesson is students from international countries, so there may be a few students from different parts of the world in my class, and that is just a safety consideration that I have to consider during my lesson. So to address this safety consideration, my safety protocol will be used if students are triggered. So my next few slides are going to be the agenda for this lesson plan, and it's going to go through the anticipatory set, the content section, the skills practice, the closing, and the homework that I have. So when students walk in, they will drop off any homework that was due if it was not already submitted online, and they'll pick up new homework if not being done online, and sticky notes if they do not have them already for today's lesson. After picking up and dropping off homework, students will sit down at their desk and start the anticipatory set, which is a think, pair, share. So for the think, pair, share, there will be 2 to 3 questions up on the board, and students will quickly have 1 minute to jot down their answers, their responses to these questions, and then they will pair up. They will do a turn and talk with the person next to them, pair up with the partner, and discuss their responses and their answers to the questions. After pairing up with a partner and talking about their answers and responses, the teacher, I will select students who are volunteering to share their answers and their partner's answers to the questions. This should take a total of 5 minutes. The essential question for today's lesson will be, how do relationships and communication affect mental health? So for the next part of my agenda will be the content section. This content section will be right after the anticipatory set, the think, pair, share, and this content section will consist of the gallery walk. Now, before starting the gallery walk, I will teach and explain communication and relationship management skills. I will have them up on the presentation during the lesson. There will be a slide on communication skills explaining them and what they are, and then the same for relationship management skills. We will discuss as a class what they are, how can we use them, and I will explain how they're used in mental health situations, and why they're needed when talking about mental health with someone. The next part to the content section will be the actual gallery walk. I will model what students will be doing during this activity. So I will model discussing answers and strategies with group members, writing down these answers or strategies on post-its and posting them on the poster, which are a part of the gallery walk. And then I will model rotating to the next poster. Each group will have 3 to 4 minutes at each station. And I will explain how students will be able to use materials from previous lessons and throughout this unit to help them out. So to start the gallery walk, even before students walk into the class, there will be 5 posters hanging up around the classroom, and each poster will have a different question or scenario on it relating to mental health and communication and relationship management. So after modeling the gallery walk for my students, I will create groups and have students start going through the gallery. When each group will go to each station for 3 to 4 minutes. Students will read the scenario or the question that's on the poster in front of them, discuss it with their group, working on communication skills, write 1 or 2 answers down on a post-it note and post it to the poster. And then after 3 to 4 minutes, groups will rotate to the next station. After each group has gone through each of the stations for the gallery walk, they will come back to their desk and complete a gallery walk response sheet. This will be used for the check for understanding for this portion of the lesson. The next slide, I have an example of what the gallery walk response sheet will look like. So after the content section of my lesson plan, after the gallery walk, the next section will be the skills practice, which consists of a role play where students will be implementing the skills that they have learned throughout the beginning of this lesson and implementing them into a real life, real world scenario classroom activity. I will, before students start, I will model what students will be doing. So maybe I will take a volunteer who wants to read through a role play with me, and we will show the rest of the class what we will be doing for this activity. So students will pair up with one partner. Again, like the anticipatory set, I will probably just do the person next to them like a turn and talk, just so that it saves time for the actual skill practice. So students will pair up with a partner, and students will be conducting role play scenarios. One student will be person 1 and the other will be person 2. Then when rotating role plays, students will switch roles. So in these role plays, there's 2 people, obviously, because there's 2 partners, so there's only 2 people. Person 1 is going to be the person with the mental health problem, so whatever scenario or mental health problem that's on that specific role play, person 1 will be the one that's facing that problem, and person 2 will be the person trying to help or support person 1 by communicating and using those skills and relationship management skills. And then, like I said, after each pair of students go through one scenario, they will switch on, they will rotate to the next. After this role play, students will conduct peer assessments for each other using a standards-based rubric. So on the next slide, I have what that standards-based rubric would look like, and students are gonna, after going through all the role plays, every student is gonna be handed one of those rubrics, and they are gonna give their partner a score from 1 to 4. And for each of the sections on the rubric, they will give them a score 1 to 4 on how their partner did. And then once that's done, once they give their partner a score, they will give their partner the rubric and they will give feedback to each other. So for my closing section of this lesson plan, I'm going to be using an exit ticket. In this exit ticket, before starting this exit ticket, students will walk through the gallery one last time. So after the content section, the gallery walk, after going through the gallery walk, after doing the role play with their partner and conducting the peer assessment rubric, students will get up and walk around the gallery one last time and observe what their group and other groups have put on the posters. And then as students are getting their last look at the gallery, I will place exit tickets on each one of their desks. When students sit back down, students will complete an exit ticket to assess their learning from today's lesson. After students complete the exit ticket, they will hand their tickets to me or in the homework, not the homework, but the exit slip or material drop box in the front of the classroom, and they will drop it and be on their way. So this exit ticket is to informally assess students on what they learned throughout the lesson. So how does communication and relationship management, how do those skills affect their own or others' personal health? So this will be the last thing to end off this lesson, the exit ticket. And for students' homework, students will use reflective journaling to review and reinforce what they learned about mental health, communication, and relationship management skills. This homework piece will allow them to individually process lesson content, practice self-awareness, and apply skills to real-life situations outside of the classroom. So for homework, students will be writing a journal entry, not a long one, but they'll be writing a journal entry answering at least 2 of the 3 questions that I have. Each answer for each question will be 3 to 5 sentences long, and I will remind students to use specific examples from the lesson and focus on self-reflection and practical application rather than just summarizing the lesson. So this homework is really going to be used to students to reflect on what we did today and to reflect on their knowledge of mental health, communication, and relationship management skills.